アンソニーとしても知られているザ・スーパーヴィラン、マイケルとしても知られているザ・ミラクル。
What is up, guys? It's Anthony, and today I kind of want to have a discussion with you guys. So, I was talking to Michael one day, and I kind of realized that King of Fighters 14, while I thought it was a great game, didn't seem to get the traction that other fighting games today have. As a matter of fact, a lot of fighting games, while they are popular, haven't quite gotten the traction that, say, Street Fighter V has. And it kind of just went on to wondering why fighting games don't get a lot of attention, and then it turned into why do fighting games, die. So when I think about this, I think of earlier fighting games, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Capcom vs. SNK 2, the Alpha series, and so on, and realized that those games had a lot of longevity. People played those games for years. Some of them didn't quite make it though, like Capcom Fighting Jam. That didn't quite... that didn't do so good. But in more recent years, I will say since the release of, say, Street Fighter 4, it seems that the fighting game well has not run dry. But despite that, a lot of fighting games just really fall off to the wayside. And it can't be as simple as, it's not as good as Street Fighter. I feel like that there has to be some real reasoning to why fighting games just kind of get forgotten. And when I say forgotten, I mean they just kind of dwindle to a niche fan base. Some fighting games that come to mind when I think about that is Street Fighter Cross Tekken at this point, because people still play it, but maybe not as much as they used to. It happened to Mortal Kombat, I would say. At this point, I think King of Fighters 14 has fallen into that. And the questions are like, why? These are recent fighting games. I don't think that they've had their time to shine, barring Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Now, I'll discuss what I think happened to those in a moment. But some of the more recent fighting games, let's say Revelator, I think that does not have the fan base that it should have, because that is probably one of the best fighting games on the market, if not the best, in terms of content, in terms of accessibility, and, well, I can't honestly say in terms of gameplay, because that's more of a subjective thing. If you like that crazy anime fighting stuff, then, it'll be great, but if you don't, then, it's not for you. Anyway, one thing that was discussed is how nowadays we can just patch games and make a fighting game into a whole new game. Now, I don't think this is what would kill a fighting game. I think it'll hamper. I think it'll kind of hold it back, as we've seen it done with Mortal Kombat, where Ed Boon decides he wants to make a patch every 2 weeks, and now people have to readjust. But then I think of games like, Street Fighter 4, and how much it got changed, and it only got better to some people. It kept bringing in people, and it's just weird how patches will kill one game, but will make another game better. As a matter of fact, it seems as though King of Fighters 14 is getting hurt by the fact that it got a patch that completely changed the game, because now less people are playing it because a lot of people got nerfs, and characters that deserve nerfs didn't quite get those nerfs. You know who I'm talking about, stupid bird child. Anyway, I don't understand why fighting games die so quickly nowadays. Some games I have really specific instances, like let's say Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I won't declare it a dead game. That's, people still love to watch it. I'm not one of those people. I've stopped playing that game quite some time ago. But I think what happened to it was the internet. The flow of information that we were able to have access to was too fast for the game, and people figured the game out pretty quickly. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 lasted because people were still finding stuff and you had to go to your local scene to see it, and it had 10 years worth of stuff. If we did not have the internet, I think Marvel vs. Capcom 3 would have lasted a little bit longer, because we would not have been able to use the really broken, cheap stuff so quickly, and it wouldn't have just fizzled out the way it did. At this point, tiers are established. We know who's the best. We know who to pick. We know who we're going to see. Sure, you get surprised every now and again, but we kind of know what's going to happen for the most part. You're going to see your Virgils, you're going to see your Morgans, you're going to see your Dooms, and so on and so forth. We know who's the best, we know who's the gimmicky characters, and we know who's so trash. And because we know that so quickly, the game just kind of seems formulaic. And to do something different is cool and all, but it's not exactly the most suggested idea. Now, of course, we can all just say that some games are just, bad. A lot of anime games kind of just fizzle out because they are not bad, but not as good as its competition. Or, you do have some games that are just bad, like KOF 12. But then you have those games that, just struggle to get a foothold. Like, I don't want to say Chaos Code. Chaos Code only didn't get off the ground because it didn't have an online mode. Nobody really wanted to struggle without that. But then you have fighting games that weren't so bad that didn't get the foothold. On the Night and Birth, I thought that was a great game, but it only had its time on the spotlight for maybe a couple months. I think it deserved longer. Other people didn't. Arcana Heart, that's kind of a weird fighting game. I like it, and some other people like it, but it didn't seem to get much of a chance. A lot of anime fighters that I think are great just didn't really get much of a chance. Anime fighters really have a hard time beating the Titans, Blaze Blue, and Guilty Gear, really. I believe those are the standard anime fighters of today. And the only one that really seemed to break out for a really long time was Persona 4 Arena and its sequel Ultimax. Only because it followed the formula of Blaze Blue, and it kind of felt familiar, I suppose. It's kind of a sad thing to talk about dead fighting games or dying fighting games, really. So I'm having a bit of a hard time. I love fighting games, and I hate to see when they go away and just kind of fade away. I'm a person who really tries to hold on to a fighting game as long as I can until I just can't. The biggest example of that is Street Fighter Cross Tekken. I really believed in that game, and to see it just die away was a very saddening thing. But that was a case of too little too late. The game came out way worse than it should have, and whoever plays it can admit that it's fine because they fixed it. But by the time they fixed it, between bad publicity and a bad start, they couldn't recover. And sometimes that's what happens. Bad publicity can kill a game real quick. And a bad start. I mean, if you have a bad starting game and you have to patch it to fix it, then sometimes it'll kill the game. Sometimes it'll make it so the game doesn't become as popular as it could be. I mean, look at Street Fighter V. Street Fighter V is an incredibly popular game, but had it come out in the state that it is today, all the characters, all the stages we have, all the modes we have, if that was what it was at launch, I promise you, this game could probably upstage, if not maybe upstage, but at least get close to matching Street Fighter 4 in popularity. And I don't mean Street Fighter 4 when it came out. I mean Street Fighter 4 when it hit its peak. I think it could have matched it. I really do. But It didn't get that chance because Capcom rushed. You know, that happens sometimes. Developers have to rush the game out, and we all know that's what happens, but somehow these things just don't kill Street Fighter. And maybe it's just the legacy. Maybe it's the legacy that keeps Street Fighter alive and keeps us playing Street Fighter. I don't know. I've always loved the formula of Street Fighter, and that's why I continue to play it. Why everybody else does, everybody's got their reasoning. So I feel like I've had a bit of a ramble, and now I want to know what you guys think. What do you think kills a fighting game? And we can go way back into the quote-unquote golden era of fighting game. We can reach all the way back to Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat 3 and all that stuff. We can reach all the way back. But what kills a fighting game according to you guys? Let us know in the comments. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe. Check out our website, rushdownradio.com. Gotta clear that with Michael. I always forget that. Anywho, check us out. Talk to you later.